set, and action.
Black Dog is a story about two boys from very different London backgrounds. Sam kind of comes from South London and has a nice home, a nice car, and is needing to go up north for his mum, and Nathan is from South London as well, but kind of doesn't have as much stuff and kind of courts violence. And they both meet by chance and are united in that need of travelling up north and end up on a road trip. Lots of setbacks happen, and towards the end of the film we learn the real reasons of kind of travelling up north.
I'm Jamie Flatters. I play Nathan Patterson in Black Dog. He's definable as the antagonist of the film, but he's also the crux of the solution in the way that he interacts with Sam, and actually through Nathan's own personal chaos and despair for life, he helps bring out a beauty in Sam which couldn't have been realised in any other setting, because Sam is conscientious and clinical and calculated, and Nathan brings in the riot into Sam's life.
My name is Keenan Munn-Francis and I'm playing Sam.
Oh man, I need a piss.
Our characters are so far apart. It brings out kind of a little fire in Sam's character as well.
Go around again, man.
We're going this way.
What do you mean you go this way? The motorway's that way.
I don't want to go that way, I want
It's
to
a
go
journey with him where he kind of, I guess, finds himself and has a better understanding of who he truly is and is able to overcome a very hard kind of situation.
Would you like a lift? I was just off out. I can drop you wherever. You can put your bike in the back.
I don't think you can really put it into one, but it's a kind of drama, it's a coming-of-age story, it's a road movie. And, you know, it's ultimately, it's a British independent film. Some of the films that have had the biggest impact on me, and the ones where I go, well, like, one day I'd love Black Dog to be like it, would be films like Fish Tank, Tyrannosaur, you know, God's Own Country, Y Tu Mama Tambien, those beautiful stories that are ultimately about the kind of human condition. And you know, if you boil them down, a lot of the time it is just about love and people and the interaction we have with those around us.
I think it's that quality art house that really connects with audiences. You know, we've all gone through those formative years, that kind of 17, 18, 19 years old. So I think audiences will also perhaps see themselves on screen, but maybe 20 years before, and connect with their own personal journey, maturing into adulthood and just figuring out where they fit in life.
You turned 18 today.
What I hope audiences take away from this film is that they're able to connect with both characters. A lot of people, in regards to who I know, could quite easily connect with these characters themselves. So I'd like, of course, people to enjoy it, certainly, because there is a lot of funny elements in the film, but also it is very touching. So I'd like them to be able to walk away from it and have a better understanding of kind of people that deal with these type of things.
You hope that this is going to hit a young audience, but I don't think it's going to exclude an older audience. Certainly it's something that I would want to see, and that's not always the case with youth-focused movies. And I think obviously, given that all the lead characters are young, that would be its sort of natural place, but I think it's much more than that. I also like the fact that although it's, you know, has serious subjects at its heart, it's not without laughs and smiles.
Wait, it's freezing!
Lovely over here, man. It's warm, I've just pissed.
And I think that always makes things very accessible. I'm not trying to hedge my bets here, but I think it's got a very wide audience.
So what's your sister like then? What the fuck you mean by that?
I always take things very seriously when Clearly says you have to read it. Obviously we get quite a few scripts, and if she goes, this is one that you really have to see, David, I want you to read it. And she did that sort of with bells on. So I read it and absolutely loved it.
Bro, why the fuck you wearing them?
What a fresh piece of writing. And I, you know, maybe really want to meet the writers and to talk about the project.
I mean, it was just a phenomenal script that George and Jamie had written together, and It was immediately something I wanted to be a part of. You could tell that George had an extremely clear vision for the project and how he wanted to bring it to life.
You know, you watch these like British films that are so British and so gritty and so powerful, and that they all have something to say, right? So I think that was one of my biggest things, was like, I want to write something that just has something to say about the world and has something to say about young people. And often this kind of overlooked age group of going out of that security of childhood and into the independence of adulthood. And these characters are two boys that are kind of caught between that, and are caught in that area where they don't quite know who they are in the world yet, and they're trying to work that out. You know, the idea kind of was born there, really, of us wanting to write something about the different things that maybe Jamie had been through, or I had been through, or those around us had been through, and kind of incorporate that into a script. And that was kind of how Black Dog originally started, really.
I was always writing from the perspective of Nathan, and George would take upon this perspective of Sam, and we would talk through situations and then develop a load of the scenes off that basis. You do, I think, almost by default start writing a character that you always wish you could have sort of played, or selfishly you want to expose something that you know is within you. And I think for this, I definitely felt this sort of need to write a character with like an underlying aggression, and somebody who was intrinsically a bad person but wanting to try and do good things. I think the fact that I wrote it, I wanted almost like all characters in this script to embody that, because I think as an actor those are the best thing to play.
Casting for me is one of the most exciting things, and I was super lucky where Daniel Edwards and Lucy Allen had cast me in a show before. They were like, we'd love to cast it, and it was a great start because they're such an amazing office, and what we ended up doing was a bit of a nationwide search for our Sam. We knew it would be a big challenge, and when we ended up getting all these self-tapes in, there was one clear standout self-tape, which was Keenan. And we brought Keenan into the room, and I'd met Keenan, and we auditioned him again, and instantly you just knew that was our Sam. You know, the emotion that he was able just to bring in an audition room where you have just like a boring grey backdrop behind you and just a couple of lights, and you're just watching it and you're like, wow, that is incredible. And then you just want to offer it there and then, but you've got a way bigger team that you kind of have to go back to and check and everything. But we were really just so excited about finding Keenan, and obviously Jamie and I wrote it together, and so we knew Jamie would be Nathan. And they brought such different energies to both their roles, where, you know, Jamie just almost became Nathan and Keenan became Sam, and it was this beautiful dynamic where there's such different energies as humans, but also as their characters, and just being able to play off that was one of the most exciting things. These two actors that don't know each other very well just start creating that bond in a rehearsal room, and you're starting to get excited because you're like, well, if you can do this here, then what can we kind of achieve on set? It was a really amazing process of kind of creating this bond between all three of us. There was so much chemistry, and that's always such an exciting thing, because you never know. You kind of make your best guess that these people are going to really click and really work together and bring something, and they really did, and it was just such an amazing thing to watch.
We were very fortunate that lots of incredible actors really connected with the script as well, and were happy to come on board the project just for maybe 1 or 2 days. You know, just generous with their performances, generous with their time, just coming to really round out the cast in some of those more supporting roles.
A lot of the cameo roles were straight offers to terrific actors, and I know that George was really pleased that they said yes. People like Nick Pinnock, for example, who's just superb. So lucky to have him just come in and do the most brilliant day.
Ruby Stokes coming on board to play the role of Kayla was an absolute pleasure as well. We just wanted to improvise. We didn't want to write any lines between them. With those scenes, we see Nathan at his most vulnerable, only because it's Nathan when he actually does have like this sort of care and love for a female figure. And the whole film is about two boys that miss their mums, miss the women in their lives. And it's really important to see Nathan interact with a woman in such a way. And Ruby was amazing in just improvising those scenes and just aiding the scenes in a massive way and making them her own, which was very helpful for me. We found something that could have never been written and never preconceived of as an idea.
When we were thinking about Andre, it was so obvious that Paul K would be an amazing choice, and I'd luckily worked with Paul before.
Do you want to get paid or not?
I know that when he got his offer in and read the script, he was like, well, I'm going to do it, of course. And that was such an exciting moment for me as a director, of like having worked with him as an actor and then seeing him on set and he's playing Andre in the first week. It was just amazing to have that.
There's a good kid in there trying to get out.
So it felt like an utter dream to have all these people that you meet on a set that you kind of know or really get on with, and then have them on your debut film and you're just like absolutely so delighted because you have these amazing actors that are just going, right, the script's great, let me go for this and take a punt on it.
It's a pleasure, honestly, to have a friend at the helm of the idea. I think if anyone else was directing the project, it'd be hard for me to trust them. I know that George has a passion for the script, passion for the story being properly represented, and that's the most important thing to me, to know that the person who's orchestrating it cares about it as much as I do. That's brilliant. I also think that's the reason why it's been able to be made itself, I think. I think that's the very thing that's been able to get it off the ground.
George has this incredible talent, but incredible kind of magnetism about him, and you just really believe that he's going to deliver on the vision that he pitches to you.
George is a force of nature. I don't think I've ever come across anyone quite like him. I mean, at 23, he's producer, writer, director, and of course, not in this production, but superb actor. The energy that he brings to the project is sort of mind-blowing, and his tenacity, the way he's gone out and, you know, raised the money and sort of beaten up the industry in order to get this film made is remarkable. And when he set out the date a while ago and he said, I am going to be starting this film by June, and you went, I believe this. I don't think I'd believe it if many people said it, but when he says it, you believe it. And so to see that first day, to be around and go, oh my God, we're underway, and he is going to shoot this in 4 weeks, and it will be out by the end of the year. If he tells me, I believe it all.
For a young man in his early 20s, he's got an incredibly mature head, but also being an actor's director, he brings this third dimension that is such a joy to work with. You can see him play with the actors and their performances, which again, as a producer, when you're sitting behind a monitor hoping that you're capturing the potential of the project, it's a really exciting and enjoyable experience.
Filming in South London, where we grew up, where we wrote the story specifically, has been such a gift. I mean, it's the location we imagined while we were writing it.
I really wanted to make that as real as possible, but what I also wanted to do was kind of show something for Sam and Nathan to run away from. You know, I wanted London to feel intense, to give them a reason to want to go up north and get out of London and to escape. So there was a day in Brixton, which I'll never forget, because I used to work in Brixton in a small Spanish tapas restaurant, so it was quite weird kind of directing a film there, but we were doing this huge running sequence of kind of running from this rooftop in Brixton, all through Brixton Market, all down the streets of Brixton, all through, you know, every bit of Brixton it felt like, and we did 42 camera setups in one day, which I think everyone by the end of it was just absolutely knackered, including Jamie. Had to run the whole day.
Get into the toilet, George.
This is the glamorous life of directing a film. I'm really proud of my debut film, Black Dog, because although it feels like it has such a British fingerprint, there's so many themes that are so universal, like friendship, sexuality, love, grief, that I really hope that wherever you are in the world, whatever you're going through, there's something that you can relate to, and it feels very universal in that sense. Pulling your debut feature together is always really hard, and you know, at 22 was such a hard thing because, you know, you are young and, you know, you do look young, and I don't have a beard and I don't walk into rooms being like, hello, I've done this 100 times. But I felt so lucky from the shorts that I had done and the kind of theatre work as well, that I think a lot of my team who were on that kind of came with me on this one. And it always blows my mind when, you know, David Parfitt read the script and was like, yeah, I really want to be a part of this. How can I help you? For me, that was a kind of big moment where I was like, right, we must have something quite special here. Maybe there's a world where we can make a feature film, you know, and a British indie feature film at that as well. So a lot of the time it's people who do big films like Bond and Venom and all this stuff, and they're kind of doing another low budget one because they believe in you, and I feel so grateful to each and every one of them. All these people that believed enough in me and believed enough in the project to come lend their support just utterly blows my mind every time I think about this team that we've got assembled. It's just an amazing team in front of and behind the camera.
That's fun, wasn't it?